Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries. I am Moses Wartooth and I'm here with
Justin Allen.
And we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'll turn it over to Justin. What's up?
I don't even know if I can even fucking handle this shit today, man. I got the documents in hand. We got the story. We got the truth right behind us right now. This episode is, ladies and gentlemen, is about conspiracy theories, as they would like to tell you. But I got to tell you right now, I got the truth in front of us.
Let's hear it. What
All right.
got first?
I got some things that I want to read off, man. And like this shit really grinds my gears. But we're going to start off with everyone's favorite, 100% New World Order. So first I got to ask you, Moses, do you think it's real?
Like the Illuminati type shit?
Yeah, New World Order, Illuminati, elitist controlling everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just listening on audio, I have a printout of various conspiracy theories and some information behind them, so we're not just speaking off our ass. No, we've been
Legitimate documents.
Legitimate documents. The government is literally circling the fucking building right now. We are in our bunker. Yes, we actually film in a fucking fallout shelter bunker, if you can't tell from our fucking video, right? They are calling the cops. There is goddamn fucking helicopters circling. I am scared. My agents are calling. I don't know what to do. But we're getting on to New World Order.
We just gotta read.
All right, let's do this shit. The New World Order theory states that a group of international elites control governments, industry, and media organizations with a goal of establishing global hegemony. They are alleged to be implicated in the most major wars of the last 2 centuries, to carry out secretly staged events, and to deliberately manipulate economies. The New World Order has been connected to a wide range of actors, including the Illuminati, Jews, colluding world governments or corporations, NGOs such as the World Economic Forum, and a secretive organization such as the Bohemian Grove and the Skull and Bones. Theorists believe that a wide range of musicians, including Beyonce and all but Whitney Houston, have been associated with the group. Prominent theorists include Mark Dice and David Icke. So what do you think, man?
It checks out. I mean, why? Like, obviously, the people in power want to stay in power, and you know they talk because whenever they're grouped together, it's easier to control people.
Yeah,
so,
like that Bilderberg group, right?
Yeah, it
Where
creates a separation of societies to where it's easier to pull the strings, and then they can also pass the blame on other things and kind of control shit.
So what do you think the end goal is? Do you think it's just like total control, or do you think it's like finding, I don't know, like a homeostasis with like humans and the earth, and it's just like this perfect utopia? Like, what?
They don't give a shit about that. It's literally just about money and power.
Yeah, like FEMA camps, like straight up, like just get these motherfuckers out of here, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking
the only reason we're still alive is because we're still wasting our money and making them richer.
Yeah. I mean, that Bilderberg group is like
build their fucking wealth.
Super crazy. I mean, like, even like the Bohemian Grove, I mean, like, I know we talked about it before, but like, you know, Alex Jones, like, he blew the lid off that shit. What was it, the late 90s, early 2000s?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, he snuck in there and filmed that shit. Because it was a, you know, like, ladies and gentlemen, we call these conspiracy theories. These aren't actually like conspiracy theories entirely.
Yeah,
like,
they're actually shrouded in a lot of truth.
Yeah. And especially if we can, and if we have enough time, we can get to the 9/11 one. That one's gonna, that gets interesting. But yeah, man, I mean, he blew the lid off that shit, and then everybody was like, what the fuck? And they
it actually exists.
Yeah, they forgot about it like in no time, you know, because like we've talked about.
Well, because they control the fucking media, so they just push that shit away.
It is true. That is true. Man, yeah, dude. But you know what? Would you go to, like, say, the Bohemian Grove or the Skull and Bones meeting or something like that, or Illuminati meeting? Like, if you could actually be in that room.
Like, if I was invited,
yes,
or to go as, like, to spy on it.
Let's say you were invited, but the only way you could get in, it came with a lifelong commitment, like a blank check. Would you go?
Probably. Yeah,
I think I would.
I
just want to know.
Yeah, that's
right?
just for the experience.
And if it's super fucked up, I'll just kill myself. Like,
well, I mean, they'll do it for you. You don't have to worry about it anyways.
Like the Clintons?
Yeah.
What, do they kill like 50 people?
A year?
Yeah, dude. Well, if you want to include like their fucking their nonprofits and charities and stuff, I mean, it's actually in the thousands.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just look at Haiti, right? Remember all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
They're still fucking finding like, they went down there, they're finding warehouses full of fucking bottled water to this day, dude. That never got delivered to the people and shit. And then, but they went down there and they built a fucking football stadium. Like, I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a Vice documentary, ladies and gentlemen, about that. And Vice went down there and they interviewed like the effects of like, what is it, the Clinton Foundation?
Yeah.
Right? And they like we're talking to like the locals, and the locals were like, "We want electricity. We don't want a fucking football stadium.
We don't give a shit about sports.
Yeah,
we want to drink clean water.
Yeah, we don't want shit running in the fucking streets. You know? Thanks, Bill. I was not on that plane 27 times. Was it 27, 29? It was a lot.
Fuck, it was a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot to where, yeah, I don't think you can really deny that shit anymore.
He wasn't on that plane, and he never inhaled.
I don't even have fucking... we're talking about goddamn conspiracy theories and shit, you know, but I don't even have fucking the Epstein shit on here, dude. I have a lot of shit to talk about. I mean, I literally have like fucking... I think it's like 5-6 pages of documents to go through. Alex Jones is very courteous to email these.
Well, he knows we speak truth.
Seriously, if we get enough followers, I'm emailing that dude and I'm fucking getting us on that goddamn show, dude. like we got a Texas flag, we got a fucking neon. For those of you watching video, we got a Texas flag hanging, a neon sign fucking going. We got a Hooters hat in the background.
We got boozy chips,
little wrap snacks, Pokemon cards and shit.
That's
Probably
right.
fucking selling too. All right, man. So the next one I'm going to ask you, we're going to go to number 2. So number 1 was the New World Order. Number 2, we're going to go into aliens and UFOs. So I kind of want to just ask you like off the bat, if you think it's bullshit, if you think it's real, or there's some element of truth to it. So aliens and UFOs.
100% real.
100% real. I think at this point,
I mean, at this point, you got to be a fucking idiot to deny that shit.
like literally the government has come out and been
there's no, that's not a conspiracy at all anymore. These people are like, this shit is real.
Yeah, and it's like highly credible people. They're like, yo, dude, that shit is not us, right? And like that shit defies physics and stuff.
And it defies fucking like left wing, right wing. Like everybody is pretty much in agreement. Like that shit's real. Aliens are around.
All right, so for the people who don't know what we're talking about, if you've been living in a fucking shadow like the last 3 years, right? There were objects that were spotted off our east and west coast by fighter pilots, doing like NORAD stuff, like normal, like just basic training exercises, doing air defense, just making sure we don't get bombed, and they started picking up these weird objects, man, and they were like these orbs, and it's just crazy to describe them. I mean, because they'll come in from space.
Yeah, they literally defy what we know is like physics and like even time, even like.
And for the public, our radar only goes to 80,000 feet above sea level, and they'll drop from 80,000 feet to like 50 feet above sea level, like within a fraction of a second.
And they can submerge into the water too.
Yeah, so they can go from air to water, which nobody has that shit.
Yeah.
Not operating at those speeds.
Yeah, not no fucking glider seaplane shit. Like, this is real.
Dude. But I'll read what I have on fucking aliens and UFOs, and you can see what you think if there's something you want to talk about on that one. But I think we're both in agreement. Like, that shit's pretty fucking real at this point.
At this point, if you don't believe in aliens, let us know in the comments so I can call you a dumbass.
Yeah. Congress just had that congressional hearing over fucking UFOs, right?
Yeah.
And that David Grush guy we talked about on a previous episode, he came out and was like, hey, we literally have bodies.
And there's
that are non-human.
Like, there's countless fucking people that all corroborate the same stories of, people have seen this stuff. Yeah. People know that it's real. There's no denying it at this point.
Yeah, there's no making it up. I mean, I'm sure there's some kooks out there.
Oh, for sure. There always is. Sure.
Some people running around like, oh, the crystals talk to me. Like, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I told you about that chick in Portland that was trying to sell me crystals, right?
Yeah. Wait, crystals or crystal meth?
It's crystals. It was crystals. Yeah. It had me confused for a second. But yeah, she was one of them Wiccan folks. She went around from bar to bar hopping, and she would like sell crystals and do tarot card readings.
She was actually a devout Christian. That's just how she makes her money.
Yeah. That's usually the case. It kind of seems to be the case in America. Everything's a scam, and if you don't think that, you're the one being scammed.
Yeah.
All right, let me read this about aliens and UFOs. So it says, among the foremost concerns of conspiracy theorists are questions of alien life. For example, allegations of government cover-ups of the supposed Roswell UFO incident or activity at Area 51. Also disseminated are theories concerning so-called men in black who allegedly silenced the witnesses.
Silence is in. Kill them. Because I don't believe they have those little fucking mind wipe deals.
Nah, I don't think they have any shit like that yet. They might. I mean, fuck, what do we know?
True.
Right? I think it's more of like just scare the fuck out of. Like, we know everything about you. Like
NDAs and shit, too?
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life, right?
Makes sense.
And I think if you don't cooperate, like, towards the end, it's just like, you're just going to go out into a hole in the desert.
Be like, we're calling fucking Hillary right now.
These papers still go on. Don't worry. All right. It says multiple reports of dead cattle found with absent body parts and seemingly drained of blood have emerged worldwide since at least the 1960s.
Before the chupacabra.
Before the chupacabra, ladies and gentlemen. This phenomenon has spawned theories variously concerning aliens and secret government or military experiments. Prominent among such theorists as Linda Howe, author of Alien Harvest from 1989.
What would the government need with cow's blood? Do you think it's like just a weapons experiment? They're going to test it on cows before they would test it on humans?
Who knows, man? I mean, I've seen like tons of documentaries about it. I mean, what really had me sold was I watched that documentary series on the History Channel called Skinwalker Ranch. Mm-hmm. And they literally like observe this shit happening. Like they leave cows alone. They turn away for like 30 minutes and then they come back. And there's literally like a dead cow and it's been like skinned from the bone. There's no blood. Like it's drained of blood, like cut with surgical precision. And like even they had vets come in and they were like, animals don't do this.
That's fucking crazy.
And it was just like instant. And then also they caught on film an actual UFO flying over when that shit happened.
Shit.
Yeah. That's actually a really good documentary series if you want to get into it,
so
guys.
The aliens are like, we're just fucking with you. We hate cows.
Could be. I mean, they could just be fucking with us. You know what I mean? I heard a crazy ass theory is like, what if they're actually demons, but they don't have permission to fuck with humans yet?
I was about to add, like, if they're doing it to cows, why don't they do it to humans, or why don't they do it to other animals? That is weird.
Maybe they do.
Like,
maybe it's harder.
What the fuck has cows done?
Yeah, I don't know. Might explain all the missing people's list.
True.
I mean, there's a lot of like unsolved fucking missing persons list. You know what I mean? So.
Doesn't that link up?
That's kind of fucking scary.
Garth Brooks was on tour.
According to fucking Tom Segura, it does. I don't think that's really a conspiracy. I think that's more a fucking fact. You know. We should have definitely put on tinfoil hats for this episode, man. We should have. All right, man. I'm going to continue with aliens and UFOs. So it says many conspiracy theories have drawn inspiration from writings of ancient astronaut proponent Zecharia Sitchin, who declared that the Anunnaki from Sumeria mythology were actually a race of extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth around 500,000 years ago in order to mine gold. In his 1994 book, Humanity's Extraterrestrial Origins, E.T. Influences on Humankind's Biological and Cultural Evolution, author Horn proposed that the Anunnaki were a race of blood-drinking, shape-shifting alien reptiles. I can't even say shit with a straight face. Shape-shifting alien reptiles. The theory was adopted and elaborated on by British conspiracy theorist David Icke, who maintains that the Bush family, Margaret Thatcher, Bob Hope, and the British royal family, among others, are or were such creatures, or have been under their control. Icke's critics have suggested that reptilians may be seen as an code word, a charge he has denied. Okay, yeah. So a charge he has denied at the end.
So so that was like three monsters rolled into one. Like,
you talking about the reptilians in general?
Yeah. Well, like they were like blood drinkers, vampires, fucking. What was the other shit?
So the blood drinking, like those were separate Sorry, I should probably clarify. Like whenever I took breaks, they were separate paragraphs with separate like thoughts. So the reptilian is separate from like the cow mutilations.
Okay, I thought all of those were like run together in one thing.
Yeah. So David Icke actually is a big conspiracy theorist.
So he's more of like the lizard people shit.
Yeah, he's the guy who made it all up. He made that theory up, and he wrote a shit ton of books about it. I mean, I've listened to the guy. The guy is like fucking completely cloud nine, dude. Like, I mean maybe he's fucking right, I don't know, but like, you know, he literally just talks about like all these elitist families, like they're reptilians, and he talks about how like the reptilians live like under the earth and like the hollow earth theory and all that shit, and that there's other races of aliens and some of them want to just like enslave us, some of them want to help us, like all kinds of shit.
So we're just like some big goddamn playground for all the aliens.
Yeah. David Icke is the British equivalent to Alex Jones, but with a high emphasis on aliens and reptilians.
Okay.
To put it in perspective. Like, he's been, like, canceled and silenced. Like, his government has, like, fucked his shit up. Like, I mean, he's been fucked in the ass, like, quite a bit, like, over the years.
They're like, they keep calling us a fucking lizard.
That's probably why he did it.
Yeah.
Honestly, just be like, fuck you guys are lizards, and I'll make half the fucking world believe that you guys are. We'll get into some statistics here in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. This shit'll blow your fucking mind what people believe. All right, number 3, conspiracy. Number 3. This isn't really a conspiracy. because I would like to say that the Holocaust was real. I don't know, Moses, what is your opinion about it?
Dude, that's one thing, like, that makes no... The Holocaust deniers...
Yeah, so this conspiracy theory is Holocaust denial.
Read it, and then I'll try
Tell
to...
you what...
I'll debunk what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is actually it's one of our shorter ones. Between 1940...
Because they don't have a goddamn story. Sorry, go ahead.
What? Are you talking about the Jews who died?
No, I'm saying, like, if they're saying it's fake and they only have 2 sentences about it, that's because they can't say that it's fucking fake.
Sorry, man. I went a whole nother direction with that one. I thought you said, like, dead men don't tell tales, right? Like, what the fuck, dude? Hold on. This is not one of those podcasts, dude. They just gave the leader of the Proud Boys 22 years, man. You need to calm
Sure, he
down.
wasn't even there.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
That's not even a conspiracy. That's just straight up fact. Anyway, all right. So number 3, Holocaust denial. Between 1941 and 1945, 6 million Jews were killed across Europe in a horrific genocide led by Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler. Despite the fact that the Holocaust is one of the best documented events in history, there are swaths of the population that don't believe it happened, or they believe the death toll has been enormously inflated. This is where it gets really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. One 2014 survey coordinated by the Anti-Defamation League of more than 53,000 people across 100 countries found that only 30% of respondents thought historical accounts of the Holocaust were accurate. Respondents under the age of 65 were more likely to say they didn't believe the Holocaust happened as history books said it did.
Okay, I would like more statistics on those demographics of people that they actually interviewed.
That is interesting.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, when I was making this... when Alex Jones was making these documents and he gave them to me, like, we had to cut down for time and all this other shit because, you know, we're only on number 3 and we're like almost 20 minutes in, dog.
I feel like they probably went to like remote fucking islands of people that don't even have books and was like, do you think this fucking happened? They killed however many millions of people, and they're like, those islanders are like, no, the millions of people don't even exist in this world.
No. I don't know, man. Have you ever actually met like a legitimate Holocaust denier?
No.
I've met several in my life.
I've met Holocaust survivors that had their fucking number tattooed them on them.
Oh, shit. No shit?
Yeah.
That's one thing. I know we've talked about history and, like, you know, how, like, I've met, like, people that have marched literally with Martin Luther King Jr., like, in the civil rights movement and stuff in my life. And, like, you know, World War II vets. I know we talked about that a lot and stuff. But damn, dude, you met a Holocaust survivor? Like, with a number. God.
She literally had, it was obviously an old woman.
Yeah.
And she was German. Like, she had a German accent.
Sure.
She was living in Colorado at the time. And a girl I knew was like basically her caretaker. Yeah. Because she was that old, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, she was like, she didn't talk about it too much because obviously, like, that's kind of one of them things I don't like. You don't really even want to ask.
Yeah, you don't ask questions. Yeah, you let them speak.
Yeah, if they want to talk about it, you're like, okay. But
that's how I do with like Vietnam vets and like World War II vets and stuff. Like, if you want to talk, you talk. But I'm not. I'll ask generic questions.
Yeah, very broad. Like,
yeah. But I will not go like
not prying shit.
So did you fucking kill somebody?
Yeah,
you know, like, or hey, did you see somebody fucking die?
Yeah,
like
did your
Auschwitz?
buddy lose his hands? Like,
yeah, dude. Did it hurt when you got your tattoo?
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like, God damn.
I know you're only 6, but what's up?
Dude, I mean, that's an amazing experience, man. Like, I mean, truly, like, honestly, and like, it's kind of a rare thing. I mean, and really, when you look at it, like, our generation is the last generation that gets to experience anything like that.
Yeah,
meeting, not the Holocaust, but like, meeting. Well, I don't know. We'll see how the fuck the next election goes because the way things are fucking going now, like, it doesn't seem that far fetched. But as far as meeting people who experience those, like, like very influential events,
traumatic shit.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. But yeah, they're definitely out there, man. I've met more than I would care to acknowledge because I definitely.
How old were they? If you remember.
Doesn't.
No, I mean like the people that you met that were deniers. How old were they?
Oh, they would. I would say
under 30,
25 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just denied the entire fucking thing?
I've met some people that say I've met more people that said the numbers were inflated.
Mm-hmm.
But I've met probably like I would say ballpark it 3 straight up deniers. They were like, yeah, there's no actual evidence that it even happened if you look into it.
Okay.
And I'm just like, whoa, okay. Like, you ever seen those fucking museums in fucking Poland, dude? And like fucking Germany? Yeah. Where the fuck you think they got all those suitcases, man? All those shoes, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty fucking ballsy to go out there and deny that shit. Yeah. I think you gotta be a real special piece of shit to do it. So.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, we're moving on to the next one. We're still talking about it.
Let's get out.
Yeah, let's get out. All right, we got out of that one.
So, That's the first bullshit one we've read. So
Yeah. So the Holocaust definitely happened, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Like.
Yeah, you're gonna be fucking retarded to think that shit didn't happen. All right, number 4, JFK assassination. Now, there's a lot of information.
That's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as far as like
this one,
that one's questionable.
I kept this one short because there's so much. There's so many conspiracies within the
There's people that have dedicated their lives to this shit. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so I'll read it. Interesting enough, this guy was actually from the same town that Theo Von grew up in. But Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested on November 22nd, 1963 for assassinating then President John F. Kennedy Jr. that same day in Dallas, Texas. 2 days later, while being transported to a local jail, Oswald was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, a Texas nightclub owner. I didn't realize he owned a nightclub.
I didn't know that either.
This shocking set of events was ripe for conspiracies from the start. Not only was a handsome, popular president fatally shot in broad daylight, then accused assassin was killed days later, inviting speculation about a cover-up. Ding, ding, ding. Right? As early as the late 1960s, more than 50% of Americans did not believe Oswald had acted alone. And as of 2017, 538 reports, that's the name of like the reports, I guess.
Okay.
61% of Americans believed the assassination involved a conspiracy of some sort. So we can say half of Americans believe that it was an inside job.
Okay.
Or some sort of conspiracy, that it wasn't Oswald like acting alone.
I don't think it was Oswald acting alone.
Fuck no, dude.
He wouldn't like, and there's been multiple times. The one that comes to mind is, remember that hotel shooter from Vegas a while ago?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, the guy who like
brought in multiple suitcases of fucking
like
hundreds of
wheeling
pounds
in
of
that
weapons
shit?
into that hotel room, dude. Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is like you get into that fucking video and then you can literally see muzzle flash from like separate floors and shit. And that was like happening live, dude. Like that was not a cover up, dude.
No.
And so the fact that the FBI was just like, oh, this was a single shooter from this one fucking room.
Yeah, they're fucking lying.
Yeah. And he sprayed like a fucking ungodly amount of bullets like in that short amount of time and stuff.
Like he would have had to have like 350 cal mounted fucking belt fed machine guns like operating himself on that.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in
dude.
like in the Predator movies or some shit, dude. Yeah. Like, do it now.
But yeah, man, I don't think he acted alone at all.
I mean, you've heard the, back and to the left, right?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently there's a lot of people, man, that were out there that day. I mean, you can see it on the video. There's a lot of people out there, and apparently there was another shot that people clearly fucking heard down the way from the grassy knoll, man. So, and then if you go into like the book repository where like Oswald apparently shot from, right? It's like almost an impossible angle.
Yeah, like the shot.
Yeah,
you would have had to been a goddamn sharpshooter and super lucky.
Well, he was a former Marine.
Was he?
Yeah. So he was actually like a very well-trained rifleman.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and say he got blackmailed.
But he popped off 3 shots in like fucking a record amount of time. Like it would be like some Guinness Book of World Record shit, dude. Yeah. So, but when it gets into it, man, like you start really looking into it, especially like the Bay of Pigs and fucking, they were basically looking for like a reason to invade fucking Cuba, right?
Yeah.
Because, and especially then you get like involved with the Soviets and like the nuclear weapons coming over, right? So, fucking JFK was like, hey man, like, this is a threat 90 miles south of our fucking, coastline. Like, what the fuck are we going to do about this? Went to the fucking CIA, right? And was like, hey, I need a fucking reason to go to war with Cuba. You know what the CIA did? They pitched his ass a fucking idea called Operation Northwoods. You ever heard of that shit?
No.
Oh my God, dude. So this shit literally is exactly damn near to a T what happened on 9/11.
Really?
Yes. They were saying that like Cuban extremists, like radicals, were going to like fucking hijack American airliners and then fucking use the airlines as fucking weapons to target fucking American like soil pretty much. And then we were going to justify that as war to go to war with Cuba. And like apparently JFK completely rejected the entire idea. basically called them disgraces to the country and was like, we're not fucking doing this shit, right?
So he was wanting to take the honorable.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he started talking, and then they were like kicking around like Vietnam already around this time. They were like, oh, we got to go into Vietnam. He's like, fuck you. Like, we don't have to get in any goddamn wars. You gotta remember, JFK was a fucking World War II vet, like decorated fucking sailor. I mean, he was in the Navy, right? And you know, he saved a shit ton of people's fucking lives and all that stuff, man. Like, so I mean, he saw war like firsthand, like up front, dude. And,
like, he was experienced. He wasn't some fucking idiot.
Like he wasn't a bitch.
And exactly. He knew he knew what was worth going to war for.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about in the podcast before, man. Like,
true.
Those motherfuckers, like those cocksuckers, like Lindsey Graham. It's a play of words, cocksuckers, because apparently he's in the closet. I don't know if you've heard that shit. What is he, like that senator from fucking South Carolina? Yeah. Look into it, man. Yeah, there's a whole thing where everyone like thinks he's gay. He's gotten like super defensive about it because he's like a diehard conservative Christian and shit.
I ain't gay.
Yeah, it's literally like that. So people just keep fucking throwing. I mean, who gives a shit if he is, man? Live your life, like whatever, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
But I just thought it was appropriate to call him a cocksucker. But yeah, he's just like, he was warmongering with like fucking Ukraine and like Russia shit, and you know. And the thing is, like, the dude hasn't done a fucking day in the military.
Yeah.
And that fucking never been to a combat zone. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he might have done like some fucking bullshit. Like, I got off a fucking plane for 30 minutes and took some fucking pictures and then got right back on.
Yeah. While did a fucking meet and greet out
there. While being surrounded by like Army Rangers and Navy SEALs. You know. You know. But yeah, like, you know, when I start seeing like a politician or something like that fucking warmongering like that, I'm just like, dude, fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they have no experience with it, like, dude, because the American people pay for that. You might as well say
with our money, with our lives,
at least 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, like, even just counting, like,
we talked about, we never leave once we get there.
Yeah, you're gonna be there for a fucking few decades anyway, right? And then you got all the medical costs, the fucking burial costs, like all the fucking insurance payouts,
physical and mental. Like,
yeah, dude, you got the disability. It just never stops.
That are affected by that shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, and you're talking about multi-generation. So
yeah,
I don't know. So JFK saw that like in the CIA, and he was like, "Fuck that." He's like, "We're not fucking doing this shit," and he literally started threatening him. He wanted to shut down the CIA. And I think his quote was, "Scatter them to the winds." Like, just, I'm done with you, right?
I mean, they're crooked as shit.
Fucking clearly.
Ever since the goddamn organization was created, man.
I mean, they watch our shit. Shit comes up on our fucking maps. It's shit straight up out of Langley, Virginia. Who the fuck you think's watching that shit? You know what I mean?
We need to interview one of them.
I would gladly bring them on, dude. Like 100%.
That'd be awesome.
And I'd be cool about it. I'd be
they
very
could even
professional.
wear a ski mask.
Yeah, I'd be very professional. So those of you who work for any intelligence, 17 intelligence agencies we have, right?
Too many. I don't
know. Those of you who work for any of those guys, you're more than welcome to come in. We can do this shit over Zoom. We'll patch in the tour. We can do that.
Yeah.
You know, deep web, all that stuff, man. Like 100%. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Oh, fuck. Am I done ranting about JFK? You ready to move on? I can keep going on, man. Like, yeah. He's got compelling stories. But essentially, he was a threat to, like, the deep state, like, establishment. And then they just, you know, fucking whacked his ass.
They found a way.
Yeah.
As they do.
That's kind of why I have hope for, like, RFK Jr., though. Because I feel like he comes from, like, a genuinely good family, though.
Yeah.
That actually gave a fuck, you know? At least in a time, like, when it was cool to give a fuck. All right. Anyway, so we're going to lighten the mood a little bit more. This one... Moon landing was fake. Yes or no, Moses?
Ooh. Okay, so I know we've been to the moon now, but like all I know is I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I am saying we couldn't get beat by Russia and China. Like we had something to prove.
You can believe it either way.
Yeah,
because we are good at fucking faking shit if we need to. Yeah, that is one thing that's true.
I mean. Yeah, everyone else is too, so fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're like the fucking wish.com version, you know what I mean?
Like, but I mean, like, it made me think of like how Russia tried to cover up the Chernobyl disaster. They were like, no, it wasn't that bad.
Nah. Like China with the COVID bullshit, fucking... Yeah, dude. There's always a fucking bullshit coming out of that. Basically, anywhere outside the Western world, there's always some fucking bullshit coming out of, dude.
I don't know, man. We have our own share of bullshit.
Yeah. I just paused and just think about it. I was thinking about it for like 2 seconds and I was like, where can I prove him wrong? And I was just like, I can't. Just like, yeah, all right. We're not going to go down those roads. All right. So moon landing was fake, man. I'm going to read this little snippet. All right. Sorry, a little bit of heartburn as usual. Ate some spicy wings for lunch. In July of 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to land on the surface of the moon. Or did they? ... They absolutely did, but by the 1970s, 30% of Americans believed the moon landing had been faked. Alternative histories soon materialized. In the case of the, and I quote, fake moon landing, William Casing apparently started writing the book We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion swindle, as complete satire, ladies and gentlemen. But he ended up fully believing the conspiracy in the end.
It sounded so good he changed his mind on it.
Yes. The primary idea in his book was that the footage of astronauts taking their first steps on the moon's surface, which hundreds of millions of people around the globe watched live on television, was actually shot at Nevada's Area 51. This is another paragraph. As recently as 2019, a small survey showed that 10% of Americans still believe that the moon landing was a hoax. In 2018, after NBA star Steph Curry said he didn't believe in the moon landing, NASA offered him a lunar lab tour.
Okay, so in 1969, I don't know if you've seen movies from that time period, but their
I have, for sure.
CGI was non-existent and just total bullshit. Like, that shit, there's no way we could have faked that stuff to come up good enough.
Well, I saw like a really good interview, like Joe Rogan had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, right? Like the astrophysicist and all that. Is it astrophysicist, right? Correct?
I think so.
Okay. I believe, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Probably just fucked that up. But, and he was explaining based on the photographs that were taken of the moon, the way that the actual light bends, like around the earth and like the sun, from the sun and all that shit, that it would be literally impossible to fake.
Recreate that.
Yeah. Like he was like, you literally cannot make that shit like in like a studio, you know? And
especially back then, like they didn't have that shit. No way.
But fuck, man, have you ever gone down that rabbit hole looking in that shit?
Yeah, I mean...
Some of that shit is convincing, dude.
It is, and it's entertaining, and I could see why it would need to be faked, even if it did.
Sure.
Like, even if it didn't happen, we still needed that win.
Yeah, because the Russians had already launched Sputnik.
Yeah.
They already had a satellite in space.
Monkeys and dogs up there. Like,
yeah. And they were just like, fucking, like, we're getting ready to, like, send fucking humans. Like, we're going to do this shit. And America was just like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, not only are we going to send motherfuckers to space...
We're going to get off.
Yeah, dude. Like, we're going to get out of the ship on the fucking moon,
and jam
a fucking flag, flip you the finger, slam a Bud Light, get back in and come back like nothing ever happened. But I do have something, I actually had like a little bit of a joke I used to say years ago. When I'd ask people, do you think the moon landing was fake? Yes or no? Most people would be like, no, like it wasn't fake, right? Yeah. Then I would ask, okay, do you remember the iconic them getting off that little like shuttle or whatever, and they're like taking the first steps, right?
One small step for man, one giant leap.
So you can see the image in your head as you say it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who set up that camera and filmed that shit?
They had a drone.
No. I mean, think about it for a minute. It fucks you up, right?
Well, I mean, they would have had to. Someone else would have had to get off first.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe they hung a camera out the window.
Maybe. Oh, it's a ways away, dude. There's no hanging. Like it fucked me up for 2 seconds when I first heard that. I was like, I thought it was a joke at first. Then I started like watching the video. I was like, wait, who the fuck did film this shit? I was like, motherfuckers, because there's no footprints out there at all. Like there's none of this shit. Like it's a real interesting question. But I would like to think that American ingenuity prevailed and. We beat the ever-living shit out of the Soviet Union and won. So.
Goddamn right we did.
It's America. Even when we're wrong, we're right. You know what I'm saying?
That's who we are.
Holy shit. All right, man. So we want to go on the next one?
Yeah.
You want to keep fucking beating up the moon landing?
Let's move.
Okay. All right, cool. I think the moon landing is kind of an old one anyway.
Yeah.
This one's more current events. Mass shootings are false flags. Yes or no, Moses?
What do you mean false flags? Pushing an agenda?
It's all staged. Like there's
every single one of them.
Look, man, the title just says mass shootings are false flags.
We fucking dissecting this shit.
All right, let's use like the iconic famous one that Alex Jones got famous over, right? Sandy Hook, right? When I say that was a false flag, I'm not hold on. I'm not claiming that was a false flag. I'm just saying this to ask a question. If I say that's a false flag in the context of this question, what I am claiming is that they were all actors. No one actually died. It was all staged entirely to push, more than likely, an agenda.
Yeah, the anti-gun agenda.
Okay. So we can say it's anti-gun, like whatever, but just a agenda to some degree. Do you think there's some truth to that?
I think there. Well, okay. I'll say that.
I'm not trying to turn you to Alex Jones gets sued for $1 billion. You know, God damn it.
I will say that every time a tragedy happens, people will jump on it to push their agenda.
For fucking sure, dude. For fucking sure. I definitely agree with that. I think it's fair to say that like we don't believe mass shootings are
because hoax. Tragedies fucking happen.
Clearly happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that shit goes on 100%. But at the same time, I won't deny that that there's certain political parties or organizations that are in or basically they get off to that shit happening because then it gives them another stance, another chance to fucking push their opinions.
They almost want it to happen because it still gives them like relevance and a purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you see it, man. Especially, and it's typically, I'm not trying to target any. I mean, like, I think the left and right both do it. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, the left fucking far more, but like the left's always like, because they're big on anti-gun, so they get all the news coverage, right?
Yeah, they're big on anti-freedom.
But then the right use that shit as well, and
they're like It's the same argument every time. The left is like, we don't fucking need guns, and the right is like, we need our goddamn guns for protection of the government.
And it just keeps people fucking divided, you know? It's kind of like we talked about earlier, man. You know, a house divided can't stand, dude. It's easier to control motherfuckers when they're divided. But when you just start realizing, like, hey, that's our constitutional right. Fuck you. Whatever they say, nothing's going to fucking change.
Yeah.
I mean, the individual state might be able to, like, circumvent and tweak some shit, like some of the red flag laws and shit like that, right? But at the end of the day, dude, if you want a fucking gun in America, you can fucking get one. That's why all the fucking felons have guns.
That's what I was going to fucking say, yeah.
There's literally more guns in this country than there are fucking human beings, dude. You know, I think it's we have like 400 million fucking people in this country, like just under, and then we have like 500 million guns or some crazy shit like that.
Like it's a very large number.
That doesn't even account for the ammo and shit.
Yeah, and that's only the legal guns.
Yeah,
so
because there's ghost guns now coming out. What is that fucking Defense Distributed from Austin, Texas, guys? Check them out. They will mail you a 80% ghost gun. All you got to do is, what else do you have to do to it? I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Probably add the lower receiver, maybe.
No. You manufacture the lower receiver because that's the part that has a serial number. I think it's actual barrel you have to fucking buy.
Oh, okay.
Which is completely like unregistered.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a Defense Distributed from Austin, man. Yeah, the hardcore libertarians. So if you guys are looking for firearms that no one knows exist, that's probably a fucking place to start. You can buy, I know you can buy 3D printers. You can buy like the fucking, what is it? It's not CNC. What is the files? You can buy the 3D printing files from them. Like it's all cheap as fuck. I mean, you can literally build a ghost like Glock for like all in all, including the printer. I think it's like $1,000, man. It's insane.
And they have like they have actual like 3D printed gun competitions now. They're actually pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I've seen them like because people will like they'll deck them out.
Yeah, like they look insane, like anime style shit. Like I saw one. It was like a AR style rifle, but it was like literally a fucking dragon, like the barrel, like a goddamn dragon. The barrel was in its mouth. Like that shit was awesome.
I saw a crazy one. This is actually on the documentary that I did watch. Which what I'm quoting from is a documentary from Vice. I do watch a lot of Vice guys. It's in the journal.
Back whenever they were good.
When they were good, yeah. Now they're like going.
They filed for bankruptcy now.
I think they might have a buyer actually.
Oh, really?
Bail them out. Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
I mean, they
definitely did file for bankruptcy.
They used to be fucking great.
They badass, like fucking like mid 2000s. Holy shit!
But again, that's because they were unbiased.
Yeah, when they started going super liberal, that's where they fucked up, dude.
Yeah, that's when I stopped watching that stupid ass shit.
What's that saying? Go woke, go broke.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely some fucking truth to that. Mm-hmm. Don't know how the fuck we ended up with that from, well, yeah, I know exactly how we ended up with that. All right, so I still have to read this.
Yeah, you
part.
haven't even read this shit.
You haven't read. We just went on a rant, like some libertarian, like, here's how you get ghost guns, like, fuck the woke agenda, like all this other shit. I have the documents in hand. You can kiss my ass. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna put us on a list. So, all right. So I'm gonna start reading. After 20 first graders, 20 as in 20 individual first graders, and 6 school staffers were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut on December 14, 2012, Alex Jones, famous, fucking journalist, podcaster, whatever you want to call him, used his formidable platform to claim the attack hadn't actually happened. The mass shooting, according to Jones, was, and I quote, completely fake, and the slain children were hired, end quote, actors. Sandy Hook conspiracies spread far and wide, with some grieving parents releasing birth certificates to prove their children existed and having to deny requests to exhume their children's bodies. I'm just going to go ahead and read the next paragraph since we already ranted like hardcore. Mass shootings continue to bring out the worst in conspiracy theorists. After the Parkland, Florida shooting, a majority Stoneman Douglas High School... That was a weird name. Marjorie. Sorry, I'm saying majority. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School left 17 dead. Survivors were called, and I quote, crisis actors. When a gunman killed 58 people in Las Vegas, theories ran wild that he hadn't acted alone. And
That's what we talked about.
Just talked about. And no, I didn't want to cut it off because we were having a good conversation and all that stuff. And no matter where the shooting takes place or how many people are affected, it seems there are always those who are ready to call it, and I quote, a false flag attack designed by the deep state to push gun control laws. But if that were true, don't you think we would have, passed substantial gun control by now?
No.
I don't know. It's a question.
To be fair, again,
It's a question for the masses.
I'm not saying that fucking mass shootings are made up bullshit, because they're not, but I am saying that people capitalize on that to push their own agendas, whether it be for the left or the right.
But we can admit, at least with some mass shootings, there has been some questionable shit that came out in mainstream media on the news.
For sure.
Yes.
Now, there's a difference between denying a mass shooting and saying that someone was aided by it, because having aid, obviously the act was still committed, they just had help.
Yeah.
No one's denying anything. They're
It's
saying
like-
that it's not as fucking cut and dry as the media or whoever is fucking saying it
Well,
is.
when I say that, I'll talk about the Las Vegas shooter, man.
Yeah.
Because, that I saw live videos on Facebook.
You could
live.
see multiple fucking, like you said,
Yes.
muzzle fire from going up multiple windows on different levels.
And I was like, that's more than one shooter.
Yeah.
So I stand by that shit, man. 100%. I don't know. Call me fucking crazy. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think I'm wrong on that one. Now, the Sandy Hook one, man, that's a super touchy one. I don't even really want to, honestly, I don't really want to get into that one.
I don't either, because I don't know enough about it, and I don't want to talk about it, to be honest.
The only thing I saw was a defunct documentary about it, which was very compelling.
I think I watched that one as well.
Yeah, where they showed
and they compared the same actors, the same family members at multiple locations.
Oh, that documentary was very fucking believable. I think we talked about it on a previous episode once. It was built with professional.
Yeah, they had a large budget.
yeah, not like some shit we cooked up in a
Right.
bunker.
Yeah.
But to the 140-ish guys who subscribe to our channel, we love each and every one of you.
Tell your friends.
Keep going. Push it. All right, man, moving on. Number 7, Democrat child sex ring.
Believable, but not just Democrats. So
Okay. All right. I'll read a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it. Damn, this one's
it's
actually
another fucked up subject.
This one's actually kind of long. All right. I'm going to go a little fast. I'll let you know when I have breaks in paragraphs. So for breaks and thoughts. In October of 2016, the emails of Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, Joe Podesta, were leaked online by WikiLeaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a lot of these personally, to be honest with you.
The Pizzagate shit?
Oh, yeah. I read verbatim where he was talking about in his private emails about human sacrifice.
I read where Obama was talking about inviting dudes over for a party and shit.
He was having a party and he put in a special order for $65,000 worth of juicy, and I quote, juicy, succulent hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's male prostitutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
I mean, have you seen his wife? But not you go on.
Well, she's a dude apparently, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a rumor. That's what I heard.
Looking like a man.
All right. So, Joe Podesta's emails were leaked online by WikiLeaks. Boom. In the emails, Podesta writes about possibly holding a fundraiser at the DC pizzeria Comet Ping Pong and mentions ordering cheese pizza. Dun dun dun. What does that CP stand for?
Code World.
There we go. So these seemingly innocuous details became fuel for the wild conspiracy that Comet Ping Pong was the headquarters of a child sex trafficking ring run by the Democratic leaders, including Clinton and Podesta themselves. Cheese pizza theorists claimed actually meant child pornography.
Mm-hmm.
As in so many conspiracy communities, the emails became a cipher only insiders could decode. A few weeks after Podesta's emails were leaked and the Pizzagate started gaining traction online, a 28-year-old man walked into the Northwest Washington pizzeria with an AR-15 style rifle after his search of the premises yielded no dungeon holding child sex slaves. He fired his gun at a locked door before surrendering to the police. Next paragraph. Although the would-be gunman later told a judge his actions were, and I quote, foolish and reckless, end quote, Pizzagate conspiracists continue to proliferate online, becoming the seed for the equally fantastical QAnon conspiracy. In December 2017, an anonymous poster called Q began posting on the message board 4chan, claiming to be an intelligence officer in the United States government. Q expanded the foundations of Pizzagate. Not only are politicians and Hollywood elites really satanic pedophiles, they also harvest the blood of children to stay young. The only person who could ever stop them was none other than Donald J. Trump. After the election of President Joe Biden, some in the Q... Quick tidbit. After the election of President Joe Biden, some in the Q universe continue to insist that Biden is an illegitimate president and Trump is ruling from the shadows, which he will one day emerge to take power after the arrest of everyone from Hillary Clinton to Tom Hanks to the Pope. Next paragraph. There's so much to say about QAnon, including the promoters in Congress, like that Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example. She is like a diehard believer in this.
Yeah.
In its entirety. Its popularity among suburban mothers, ironically, its role in the deadly January 6th insurrection, apparently, and its ties to the wellness industry.
Deadly?
Yeah, that was a word they used when I looked this up. But we'll leave you with this. Even Alex Jones appears to have given up on the QAnon conspiracy.
Okay,
apparently it's popular with like suburban moms.
That's interesting.
Soccer moms, yeah.
They're either BLM or they're QAnons.
Who knows, man? Dude, so where do we get started? All right, Democratic
believe
sex
in the pedophile shit, but it's not. It's not fucking confined to the Democratic Party.
Of course, yeah. This is like when I was just looking up like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I mean, they focused on Dems, and I think the article that I was like reading was a more liberal article, and they were kind of like saying that like, hey, conservatives use this to attack liberals kind of thing. I think that's kind of the angle they were working in this particular article, but clearly there are child sex trafficking rings. I mean, like we've talked about on this episode before, like slavery.
I mean, that's a major fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's not talked about.
Slavery is the highest it's ever been recorded in human history today. Yeah. It is the highest. There's 50 million slaves estimated, and it's
all races, all ethnicities.
Yeah, all. And over 25 million are considered to be sex slaves, you know? And then you have things like, you know, the Epstein Islands that Alex Jones was talking about over 10 years ago, right? Or I think they called it Pleasure Island, didn't they?
Yeah,
They call it? And, you know, everyone thought, you know, Alex Jones was like insane. And then it turns out he was absolutely fucking right, you know? So it's definitely a fucking thing, man. But what makes conspiracy so fucking compelling is that they're so goddamn believable, right? Yeah. You know? So, and the thing is I think in a lot of them there is some truth to be found, right? But I think, you know, the actors behind it don't want the truth totally exposed, so they just throw in some bullshit.
Yeah.
To make it seem completely outlandish. Like the Pizzagate shit. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, because I don't... like, there's no way that they would have a dungeon in a goddamn pizzeria when they're like, they're the richest people in the world. Why would they run it out of a fucking pizza shop?
They literally have an island where you can go fuck 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, why would you run that shit out of a pizzeria?
Yeah.
You know,
like,
it's fucking
makes
stupid.
no fucking sense.
Like, strategically, that's just like a dumb move. You know what I mean? Like,
I was actually thinking, like, that gunman, they could have paid that dude to do that just to, like, make the whole thing even more ridiculous.
Goes back to our false flags.
Yeah, true.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want to hang out on this one for a little bit, or you want to go on?
Let's move on. That shit, the pedophile shit, there's too much of that bullshit. They all need to be shot in the fucking head. So
all right, dude,
got nothing else to
definitely
say about
agree, man. I think it should be an instant death sentence.
Yeah.
Instant. Fair trial, but death sentence.
As soon as people are found guilty without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brains blowed out. Or let the parents mutilate them. Whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that'd
somebody did that to my goddamn kid, dude.
Yeah.
I would want to have him. I'd want to do my shit to him.
Be a crime of passion, dude. You get off on murder on that shit, dude. You might go to prison for like 5 years, but you'll be out in no time.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll feed your dogs while you're gone.
Good.
Just like, here you go. All right, man. We're going to lighten the mood on the next one because that one was a little tough. So,
dark.
All right. Number 8. Birds aren't real. Now, I have heard this a million times.
I've heard it too, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the story behind it?
Something about the FBI. They're like, I don't know. Go read the shit. I don't know.
So it says, by far the most outlandish conspiracy on the list is the idea that all birds have been systematically exterminated and replaced with exact replica drones. Birds aren't real. The Birds Aren't Real movement says it's been around since 1976. Like many great conspiracy theories, it brings together many other theories to form a grand unified theory of government surveillance, aka birds aren't real. Next paragraph. The CIA used poison gases, aka chemtrails, to kill off all living birds in the country in an operation called Water the Country. Then they were replaced with drones built at Area 51 to watch people and monitor their behavior. They believe Kennedy was assassinated because he refused to implement the bird watching program. The engineers who built the birds were sent to Vietnam and were captured by the Viet Cong. That's the end of that one. I thought that shit was a roller coaster from start to finish, dude.
That shit gets more outlandish.
You know, like, so I've heard this one before, and like the most compelling argument for it is, have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
I mean, pigeons aren't even local to our area.
I mean, like when you've seen like pigeons, like have you ever seen one?
No. But I've seen plenty of goddamn baby robins and blue jays and blackbirds and everything else.
Don't fucking take this from me. But yeah, apparently there's a whole like a movement of people.
Well, if they're drones, how the fuck are they powered? Like at night, do they go hide in a power station?
I don't know,
like,
man. That's that fucking alien Area 51 fucking technology, dude. I'm just telling you.
They're infinite fucking energized.
Hey, man, I have the documents in hand. I'm just telling you what the people believe, okay?
I mean, I'm not questioning
Don't shoot
you.
the messenger.
I'm not questioning you at all. I'm trying to have an open dialogue out here, goddammit.
It's just dead ass. Don't you take this from me. This is mine. All right, we're going to move on, all right?
Yeah. What's your opinion on the goddamn birds?
Oh, shit. I was trying to dodge that. Just slide right out like it. I don't know, man. I think it's like interesting. Like it kind of fucked me up because, where was I living? Where the hell was I living? We had pigeons like everywhere. And then someone brought it up and they were like, yo, like, you know, birds are fake. Like they specifically said pigeons are fake. And I was like, get the fuck, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you, crazy? And they were like, yo, you ever seen like have you ever seen a pigeon of a different size? And I was like, no. And they were like, okay, you ever seen a pigeon sleep? Where do they go? Where's their nest? Like all this other shit. And I was like, motherfucker, like looking around. So yeah, but it's become a joke. So I don't know.
I don't have faith in any technology that like, if all pigeons were like robotic, they would short circuit, like something would happen. There would be like, and if fucking pigeons get killed and run over, like there's no electronic parts.
Yeah, of course.
You just rip one of them fucking head off.
But hey, it is proven. This is actually a declassified document. This is not a conspiracy theory, ladies and gentlemen. The CIA did actively use bats planted with fucking explosives in Vietnam. Because they would house in the fucking houses of the Viet Cong and then they would explode and then they'd catch the fucking houses on fire. They literally burned down entire villages and shit.
That's fucking cool.
Using bats. That's like a real thing that actually happened. We use fucking animals when we need to, dude.
I know they've used like dolphins and shit as well.
Yeah. Went in for like it was like
I really don't
like
remember.
Torpedoes and shit like that. It was like they could pick up sonar.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like the Navy had a whole program where they were like training them and shit, dude. Like these badass fucking dolphins. All right, man. I think we got time for one more. I'm gonna give you two choices, man. I had a few listed here. Okay.
All right.
So they're both well. Number 9 is pretty long, but number 10 is long as fuck. So do you want to bust an hour and go fucking hard as shit on number 10, or do you want to fucking go over number 9? Number 9 might be more interesting.
Let's do 10. I mean, let's do 10 later because I think it's more interesting. I like to actually touch on it more. So let's hit 9.
But we've also talked about doing like multiple episodes of like conspiracy theories, so we'll save 10 for that. All right, so coming at you, final conspiracy theory, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the U.S. helped Hitler escape. What do you think, Moses? You think we got that motherfucker out of there? Would it be better if I just read this to you first and then asked you?
Yeah. For this one, yes.
Just to give you a title, throw you on the spot. Like, what do you think, real or not? Not like. Just
I always have an answer for everything. Like,
even when I'm wrong, I'm right, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
All right. The United States emerged from World War II as a completely changed nation. The war effectively ended the Great Depression and ballooned the size of the federal government in ways the American people had never seen before. The U.S. suddenly went from a third-rate power to a global superpower. It was a lot of change in a short period of time. Global bodies such as the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and the United Nations were created and headquartered inside the country. The exclusive meetings that established those bodies, like the Bretton Woods Conference in New Hampshire, are exactly the kind of fodder conspiracies a conspiracy theorist need to get their minds rolling. So almost as soon as the war ended, Americans were ready to believe the Soviet disinformation that it wasn't Hitler's body found outside of a Berlin bunker, but that of a body double. American newspapers repeated the assertion made by the Soviet Marshal Gregory Zhukov. I messed that up. And Americans were ready to believe it. And in the very real operation that brings hundreds of former Nazi scientists and technicians to the U.S., codenamed Operation Paperclip, and it doesn't take long to see how a skeptical public could believe Hitler's survival was engineered by U.S. intelligence. Studies have since shown that the remains discovered by the Red Army were, in fact, Hitler's. Dun dun dun.
Okay, so that makes me also think of the Bin Laden incident. Like, we needed that win. We said we got him. Who knows if we really did. Mm-hmm. Operation Paperclip, that shit's legit.
Yeah, that was real. Because we brought out like fucking
all of their top scientists.
Yeah, dude, and it was like high up like SS officers and shit.
They did super fucked up atrocities, but they were smart as shit. So it was like, I don't know. It was super, like, obviously they were terrible fucking people.
Yeah.
But they helped us in a lot of fucking advancements in our technology and medicine and shit too.
Yeah.
So
sure. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say that they should have had some kind of, I mean, they were super fucked up.
I'm sure there were some that were just caught in a fucked up, like, government. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, a lot of those.
Some of them people I've seen were like goddamn Satan with a goddamn free reign of shit.
Like that, what is his name? Like Werner von Braun or whatever that ran NASA or whatever, like basically started NASA.
Yeah.
Like he was like literally like key player in like the exterminating of Jews and shit and stuff.
Yeah,
like
all the twins experiments and like, dude, we could talk about Nazi crap for a while too. Like,
it's just because it's on Hitler
experiments, man. But I don't know. What do you think about the Hitler thing?
Me personally, I think Hitler got out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we helped him.
He just probably escaped anyway, and we just claimed to fucking.
Well, because a lot of them made it to like basically any of the like elite like SS, like any high ranking like Nazis or like, I mean, I'm not talking about like just military members. I'm talking about like politicians as well, like all that shit. Because I mean, it was a political party too, right? Anyone with money, they made it to Argentina. And
so why would Hitler be any different?
Yes. And there was actually a book that was written by a lady that went down and investigated it, and freaking, I cannot remember the name of the book, but there's a photograph a woman has of like her boyfriend, right? An old woman or whatever, and this dude looks identical to Hitler. And it's crazy. Apparently there's like this area in like Argentina when you go, like it's all like Argentina, like normal, like South America, cool, bop, 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 driving around, and then all of a sudden it's like flat plains and German houses.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like German pubs.
They just moved down there.
They speak fucking German, like to this day, still do that shit. And then there was a TV show, I think it was on the History Channel. It was called, I can't remember, I think it was called Finding Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
And they went down there. And these people, like, they still have pictures of like grandfather, great grandfather, aka like SS officers and shit. They have pictures of them like on their wall, and they talk about how they were war heroes and stuff. And like they still, like, dude, like it's a fucking compelling theory, man. But I just don't know like what benefit the United States Intelligence Agency would have trying to help Hitler out of there. You know what I mean?
The only thing I can think of, if it did actually happen, was there was some sort of a trade deal. They were like, we'll do this. Or basically, he had something to offer them, basically.
Or like, you just step down and dissolve your government and we'll let you live.
Maybe.
Could be. Because it's usually the leaders in power that are actually the biggest cowards, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at our country. Do you think if there was a real war, Biden, like, his ass would be in that goddamn bunker and we would never see him again?
Oh, yeah.
He would totally get away with it. And so
or would just take his own fucking life or whatever.
Nah, he wouldn't. I mean, hell, he'd probably trip over fucking anything and kill him. Like,
take 50 Ambien and watch a romantic comedy. Watch Mean Girls and drink some red wine. You know?
Ooh, Lindsay.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I will kind of debunk what I just read, though, because that came from an article that I was reading or whatever. And I actually read a fact that the University of Connecticut, I believe it was in the late 90s, they did DNA testing on the skull fragments of Hitler, and it wasn't his. And we actually we did a reel of it.
Yeah, we did. I saw that, but I was like...
And that was like a legitimate scientific study. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, you know? Because I mean, there's no like real bodies found. I mean, the Soviets, quote unquote, found the bodies.
Yeah,
right?
And who's to say that they didn't fucking bullshit those documents anyways?
Yeah, it might have been for all we know, it might have been a fucking deal with the Soviets.
Really?
Dude.
Yeah, it could have been.
They probably thought they were just gonna get that fucking land and do a power grab because after like fucking Nazis were knocked out and like fucking Japan was handled and all that shit, dude, it was like literally just gonna be like
they were like
Russians and us. Yeah, it's just gonna be us and the Soviets going at it, which is what happened. That is how it started, the fucking Cold War and Korean War and. Eventually led into like Vietnam. And then like it is still funneling over to this day in like Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria.
Now the Ukraine.
Yeah, now the Ukraine. Yeah. You know, interesting, doing a callback to General Patton. He actually said after we won World War II that we couldn't stop, that we had to take it all the way to Moscow. And he accurately predicted that essentially like Russia would be like one of the biggest problems and like communists would be like one of the biggest issues that we had to face or whatever.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a pretty fucking good conspiracy episode.
I liked it.
So, thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, let us know in the comments what your favorite conspiracy was. And if you agree and what you don't agree with. If you think that some of those were bullshit, let us fucking know.
Absolutely.